Hello students. In the previous class, we have discussed the thing regarding the preparation of profit and loss account in a vertical format as per Companies Act of 2013. In this session, you are going to prepare the balance sheet in a vertical form as per Companies Act of 2013. So previous class ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ತಗೋಣ. So the first problem, prepare a balance sheet in vertical form of A Limited as on 31st March 2017. So here that the trial balance, share capital 1 lakh, equity share of rupees 10 each 10 lakh, 8,000 preference share of rupees 100 each 8 lakh, security premium 8 lakh, general reserve 32 lakh, secured loan 18 lakh, then unsecured loan 3 lakh 10,000, fixed assets 50 lakh, goodwill 2 lakh 60,000, investments 2 lakh 50,000, closing stock 14 lakh, sundry debtors 14 lakh 20,000, cash at bank 3 lakh 40,000, loans and advances 5 lakh 30,000, creditors 12 lakh 50,000, bills payable 3 lakh, provision for taxation 2 lakh, miscellaneous expenditure 60,000, profit and loss account of loss balance of rupees 4 lakh. The total is 96 lakh 60,000. So, ಈ above information ನಾವು ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ನಾವು ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ದಟ್ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್, ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ rupees 6 lakh and provision for doubtful debts rupees 40,000. ಸೊ ಅಬೌವ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಎರಡನ್ನ ಬೇಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಈಗ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನೋಟ್ ಅನೆಕ್ಸ್ಚರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ನ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ನೋಟ್ ಅನೆಕ್ಸ್ಚರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ 2013, ಸೊ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅನೆಕ್ಸ್ಚರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ನ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಸ್ rupees. Note number 1, share capital 1 lakh, equity share of rupees 10 each 10 lakh, 8,000 preference share of rupees 100 each 8 lakh. The total is 18 lakh. Reserves and surplus, security premium 8 lakh, general reserve 32 lakh. The profit and loss account of loss balance of 4 lakh. From that profit and loss account less depreciation 6 lakh and reserve for bad debts 40,000. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಲಾಸ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಲೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಇದು ಅಡಿಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಟೋಟಲ್ ಬಂದು 10,40,000 ಮೈನಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ 10,40,000 ಏನ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್, ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಲೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ 8 lakh ಮತ್ತೆ 32 lakh ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜನರಲ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಈ ಮೈನಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇರುವಂತ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ನಾವು ಲೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. 8 lakh plus 32 lakh 40 lakh minus 10,40,000, that leads to 29 lakh 60,000. This reserves and surplus amount. Number 3, long-term borrowings nil. Number 4, deferred tax liability nil agide. Number 5, other long-term provision nil. Number 6, long-term provisions nil. And then number 7, short-term borrowings nil. Number 8, trade payables and other creditors 12 lakh 50,000 and bills payable 3 lakh. The total is 15 lakh 50,000. Note number 9, other current liability nil. Number 10, short-term provision and other provision for taxation 2 lakh. Coming to that, note number 11, fixed assets and other assets na tagota now 50 lakh. From that less depreciation 6 lakh. Remaining balance is 44 lakh. The goodwill 2 lakh 60,000. Total is 46 lakh 60,000. Number 12, non-current investment under that investments of rupees 2 lakh 50,000. Number 13, that is note number 13, deferred tax assets nil. Number 14, long-term loans and advances nil. Number 15, that is note number 15, other non-current assets nil. Number 16, that is note number 16, current investments nil. Note number 17 consists of inventories. Under that inventory there is a closing stock 14 lakh. Note number 18, trade receivables. Under the trade receivable, debtors 14 lakh 20,000. From the debtors less reserve for bad debts 40,000. The remaining is 13 lakh 80,000. Number 19, cash and cash equivalents 3 lakh 40,000. number 20 short-term loans and advances, and that loans and advances consider 5,30,000. Note number 21 other current assets is 60,000. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ನಾವು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅನೆಕ್ಷರ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ನ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅನೆಕ್ಷರ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್. That calculation which are made on notes annexed to balance sheet should be presented in the face of balance sheet. Here the face of balance sheet, books of A Limited, the balance sheet as of 31st March 2017. Here consists of particulars, note number, and then figures for the current reporting period. Other particulars, the number 1 is equity and liability. Under that equity and liability, number 1 shareholders fund. That shareholders fund, A share capital. That consists of note number 1 18 lakh. E reserves and surplus, note number 2 29 lakh 60,000. And the C money received against share warrants, no information about that, that will be present as nil. Number 2, under that equity and liability, non-current liability. So non-current liability are segregated as follows. Under that one, long-term borrowings, note number 3 21 lakh 10,000. B deferred tax liability, note number 4 nil. C other long-term liabilities 5 nil. D long-term provision, note number 6 nil. Under that equity and liability, the third one is current liability. Under that A short-term borrowings, note number 7, so that is also nil. And B trade payables, note number 8, that is 15 lakh 50,000. And C other current liabilities, note number 9, ಅದು ಕೂಡ nil ಆಗಿದೆ. And D short-term provisions, note number 10 2 lakh. The total of these things, that is note number 1 to 10, that is 86 lakh 20,000, is the total of liabilities. Coming to that, the second one in balance sheet, that is assets. That assets, the first one is non-current assets. The non-current assets are segregated as follow, that presented as follow. Under that A fixed assets, note number 11 46 lakh 60,000. B non-current investments, note number 12 2 lakh 50,000. And C deferred tax assets, note number 13, so nil. And D long-term loans and advances, note number 14 nil. So and E other non-current assets, note number 15 nil. The second one under the assets is current assets. Current assets are segregated as follows. Under that A current investments, note number 16, that is nil. And B inventories, note number 17 14 lakh. C trade receivable, note number 18 13 lakh 80,000. And D cash and cash equivalents, note number 19 3 lakh 40,000. E short-term loans and advances, note number 20 5 lakh 30,000. F other current assets, note number 21 60,000. The total of that is note number 11 to 21 is 86 lakh 20,000. Is called as total of assets. Here that ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಈ ಡೇಟಾ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅನೆಕ್ಷರ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದೆನ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಈ ತರ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. First we have to prepare notes annexed to balance sheet. So the calculation must be made on that only, that is notes annexed to balance sheet. After the preparation of notes annexed to balance sheet, the data which are calculated in notes annexed to balance sheet should be presented in the face of balance sheet in a vertical form. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು particulars ಮತ್ತೆ note number ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ note number ಅಲ್ಲಿ calculation ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ note number ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀವಿ. Figure for the current reporting period ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ current year reporting period ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Like that we are going to prepare another problem. From the following information relating to XYZ Limited, prepare a balance sheet as on 31st March 2014 in the prescribed form. Here the debit balance in amount in rupees, fixed assets 50 lakh, investments 2 lakh 50,000, debtors 13 lakh 80,000, loans and advances 5 lakh 30,000, miscellaneous expenditure 60,000, profit and loss account is loss balance of 4 lakh, the goodwill 3 lakh, closing stock 14 lakh, cash and bank 3 lakh 40,000. So here that debit balances ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ನ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Share capital, equity share of rupees 10 each, 10 lakh, preference share of rupees 100, 8 lakh, security premium 8 lakh, secured loan 18 lakh, bills payable 3 lakh, capital reserve 32 lakh, secured loan 3 lakh 10,000, creditors 12 lakh 50,000, and provision for taxation is 2 lakh. So with the above information, we have to prepare a balance sheet of a XYZ Limited described form ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, that is in a vertical form. So before preparation of balance sheet, we should prepare the note annexure to balance sheet. So you have that note number, particulars, amount in rupees. That note number 1 consists of share capital. Other share capital they consist of different kinds of shares which are used by the company in order to raise the share capital. Another equity share of rupees 10 each, 10 lakh, and preference shares of rupees 100 each, 8 lakh. The total is 18 lakh. Number 2, reserves and surplus, another security premium 8 lakh, and general reserve 32 lakh. From that, less profit and loss balance 4 lakh. 8 lakh plus 32 lakh, that is 40 lakh. From that 40 lakh less loss balance of 4 lakh, that is remaining balance is 36 lakh. Number 3, long-term borrowings. The long-term borrowing consists of secured loan and unsecured loan. In the problem, secured loan is 18 lakh and the unsecured loan is 3 lakh 10,000. The total is 21 lakh 10,000. And number 4, note number 4, deferred tax liability nil. Number 5, other long-term provisions nil. Number 6, long-term provision nil. Number 7, short-term borrowings nil. And number 8, trade payables. That creditors 12 lakh 50,000. Bills payable 3 lakh. The total is 15 lakh 50. Coming to that, note number 9, other current liability nil. Number 10, short-term provision, that provision for taxation 2 lakh. Number 11, fixed assets, that assets 50 lakh, goodwill 3 lakh, the total is 53 lakh. And 12, non-current investments, that investments 2 lakh 50,000. Number 13, deferred tax assets nil. Number 14, long-term loans and advances nil. Number 15, other non-current assets nil. Number 16, current investments nil. And 17, inventories. And that inventory, there is a closing stock is 14 lakh. And number 18, trade receivables. Under the trade receivable, there is a debtors of rupees 13 lakh 80,000. And note number 19, cash and cash equivalent of rupees 3 lakh 40,000. And 20, short-term loans and advances. Under that, loans and advances of rupees 5 lakh 30,000. And 21, other current assets, that is miscellaneous expenditure of rupees 60,000. Whatever the notes figures which are calculated in notes annexure to balance sheet should be presented in face of balance sheet. The books of XYZ Limited, balance sheet as of 31st March 2014. Here are the particulars, number, figures for the current reporting period. Number 1, equity and liability. Another equity and liability. Number 1, shareholders fund. Another shareholders fund. Share capital 1. Note number 1, 18 lakh. B, reserves and surplus. Note number 2, 36 lakh. Money received against share warrant. There is no information about that. That's why it's short as nil. ಅದು nil ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. And equity and liability, that second one, ಎರಡನೇದು non-current liability. That non-current liability, that A, long-term borrowings. Number 3, note number 3, 21 lakh 10,000. B, deferred tax liability. Number 4, nil. C, other long-term liabilities. Note number 5, nil. And D, long-term provision, note number 6, nil. So ಇದೇ ತರ equity and liability number 3 ಬಂದು, that is current liability. And the current liability number A, short-term borrowing, number 7, nil. Note number 7, nil. B, trade payables, note number 8, 15 lakh 50,000. C, other current liabilities, note number 9, nil. D, short-term provision, note number 10, is 2 lakh rupees. The total of the note number 1 to 10 is 92 lakh 60,000. Is the last total of liabilities. Coming to the second phase, that is the second one is assets. That assets, the first one is non-current assets. Non-current assets consist of following: that A, fixed assets, note number 11, 53 lakh. B, non-current investments, note number 12, 2 lakh 50,000. C, deferred tax assets, note number 13, nil. And then D, long-term loans and advances, note number 14, nil. Number and E, the deferred tax assets, note number 13, nil. And the D, long-term loans and advances, note number 14, nil. And E, other non-current assets, note number 15, nil. Second one under the assets is current assets. Under that A, current investments, note number 16, nil. B, inventories, note number 17, 14 lakh. And C, trade receivable, note number 18, 13 lakh 80,000. And D, cash and cash equivalent, number 19, 3 lakh 40,000. And then E, short-term loans and advances, that is note number 20. It is amounted to rupees 5 lakh 30,000. And F, other current assets, note number 21, 60,000. The total of note number 11 to 21 is 92 lakh 60,000. This is called total of assets. So like that, in a vertical form, so first we should calculate the note annexed to balance sheet. Then the figures which are calculated in notes annexed to balance sheet should be presented in face of the balance sheet, like in a vertical form. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you.